illusion of self-defense. You believe that pain comes from outside. Who are the people, the world, the situations that hurt you? So build walls. Pretend you don't care. He responds with sarcasm, with indifference, with detachment. You call yourself cold, armored, mature, but inside, the pain still echoes like a constant whisper that you try to shut up, but it always comes back when silence comes. The problem is not feeling. The problem is no longer knowing how to deal with what you feel. It is believing that ignoring will heal. Not showing it is a sign of strength. Jung said, everything that we do not face in consciousness reappears in life as destiny. You are not protecting yourself. You're stiffening up. You're losing touch with your own soul and calling it maturity. But Alma does not protect herself with a mask. Protect yourself with truth. And the truth sometimes bleeds before it releases. The unconscious does not disappear. It hides. The unconscious does not die. He does not disappear with denial, nor does he shut up with discipline. It just changes shape, transforms. He disguises himself. When you repress a feeling, he does not disappear. He hides, and hidden, he begins to operate underneath your life. You think you're in control, but it repeats patterns. Get into relationships that hurt the same way. It sabotages everything when it's about to work out. Feels anxious just when everything should be fine. That's not bad luck. It's no coincidence. It's not destiny. It's your unconscious trying to wake you up. He screams through his insomnia. It reveals itself in jealousy that you cannot control. It explodes in the crises that you don't know where they came from. The unconscious acts like a wounded child. The more ignored, the more noise it makes, and you insist on calling it bad luck, karma, the problem of others, but in fact it is your soul asking to be seen. You won't cure what you avoid looking at. You want to stop suffering, but you keep running from you, running from the old pain, running from the memories that still live inside you. It's just that the more you run, the further you get from healing. Because you can't cure what you avoid. You can't cure what you suppress. You don't heal what you pretend you've forgotten. Pain does not dissolve in distraction. She turns into a shadow, and shadow does not disappear. It protrudes. You begin to see what is inside of you in others, judging in the other what he doesn't accept in himself. To walk away from those who confront you with parts of you that you hate. But Jung was clear. What we deny in ourselves will appear as an external destiny. As long as you keep running from your fear of abandonment, it will end up in relationships where it will always be left. While not facing your feeling of inadequacy, it will hide behind characters that never satisfy you. Do you want to stop hurting yourself? So stop running away from what you feel ashamed to feel. What hurts is not the feeling. It's the judgment you have on him. It is the attempt to erase it by force. It is the emotional self-abandonment that you repeat every day. The myth of invulnerability. The world has taught you that feeling is weakness, that showing vulnerability is delivering power, that the right thing is to move on without looking back. Be rational, firm, untouchable, but this coldness you call strength. It's just a frozen trauma, a stagnant emotion, a soul that stopped moving. You have become accustomed to the pain and have come to call it normal. You've gotten so far away from yourself that you don't know how you feel anymore. You just know it hurts. You repeat, I don't care anymore. It doesn't affect me. Nothing hits me. But at night, when no one sees, you feel, you collapse. You crumble inside, because the problem was never felt. The problem is not understanding what you feel, nor where it comes from. You don't become strong by building armor. You become strong when you no longer need them. And that only happens when you embrace all that is in you, even what you've been taught to hide. True strength comes from integration. Do you want to be unshakable? So stop fighting yourself. True strength does not come from denial. It comes from deep acceptance. To look inside and say, yes, that's me too. Your flaws, your fears, your wounds, that side of you that feels jealous, that feels angry, that feels envious. It doesn't need to be eliminated. It needs to be understood. Carl Jung said, "You do not become enlightened by imagining light, but making the darkness conscious. When you integrate your shadow, she stops controlling you. When you accept your pain, she stops sabotaging you. You don't have to defend yourself from the world. When you've made peace with what's inside of you, the untouchable is not the one who avoids touch. He's the one who's touched his own wounds. He turned them into wisdom, individuation. The Jungian cure. Jung called this path individuation. But what does this process really mean? Individuation is not simply an ideal of perfection that we seek to achieve. It is not a search for the best of ourselves, but for becoming who we really are, not what others expect of us, not what we create to survive the pressures of the world, but what already exists in our essence, before any mask or facade. Individuation is a profound journey that goes beyond simply being good or better. It is a journey of wholeness, to accept that you are both light and shadow, strength and fragility, joy and sorrow. It is the moment when the ego finally gives in and stops fighting the soul, where the character you have built throughout life. To be accepted, to protect yourself, it gives way to its true essence. And it's at that moment that you realize that you don't have to be better, only truer, more whole, more humane. Individuation is the process in which the ego no longer tries to control every step. He no longer tries to hide the parts he considers imperfect. You finally realize that there is no need to run away from your weaknesses, nor to deny the shadows that dwell within you. Instead, you start integrating, accept, welcome, because true healing does not come from denial, but from integration. This is the deepest point of individuation, not to become perfect, but to become real. Accept that you don't always have to look good. What a human being it is to have flaws, insecurities, shadows, that every part of you, even the ones you fear the most, has a purpose. And it is in this process of acceptance that you find true freedom. Because when you stop running from yourself, when you finally stop judging and rejecting yourself, pain no longer has the same power over you. You're not the same anymore. You become someone who can be touched by life, but she doesn't let herself be broken by it. Thus, individuation is the way to stop running from pain, from imperfections, and start dancing with them. It is realizing that the process of becoming whole is in itself the greatest act of healing, because you don't have to be more than you already are. You just need to be who you really are. Nothing and no one else will hurt you. You think freedom is out. It is the other that needs to change, which are the situations that need to improve. But freedom is not what they do with you. It's what you do with what you feel. You defend yourself because he still believes he can be hurt. But when you accept all that is in you, when you know your pain, your story, your emotions, no one else has the power to hurt what you have already embraced. Let that shit go. Release the anger you feed in silence. Release the control that never worked. Let go of guilt for having felt too much. You've hurt yourself enough. Now, it's time to break free. And when it happens, nothing and no one ever hurts you in the same way again.